Hello, everyone, and welcome once again. It's that time. People, oh my God. I love this time of year because this is playoff time. This is win and you're in. If you lose, you go home. That's it. This is week 15, people. 15. Most leagues are in their playoffs. This is the first week of the playoffs. If you're lucky enough to get a first round bye because you're the number 1 or 2 seed, you consider yourself fortunate. You don't have to go through that anxiety of playing a playoff game the first week. You can wait till the second week, get in the semifinals, and give you a better chance, a higher percentage of trying to win, rather than go to the first round, win that, have to go through the second round, and hopefully win that, and then have to go through a third game. That's trial by fire. Let me put it that way, people. Let me put it that way. You have to go through, if you have to get into the first 3 rounds or first round of the playoffs. You have to play that because you don't have the luxury of having a bye. You got to go through 3 rounds. And hopefully you get through the 3 rounds. And, you got to go through the anxiety because anything can happen. I keep saying this over and over again. Anything can happen. It's fantasy football. Anything can happen. You can have one of your key players. Now, last year, this is what happened to me. And ironically, it happened to me again. It's crazy. It's happened to me again. Last year, I was in the playoffs. I think I was in the number 33 seed or whatever it was in one of these leagues. And I had been riding Jalen Hurts the whole time as my quarterback. And he's been coming through week after week after week. Okay? The week before the playoffs, he gets hurt. Everybody knows Jalen Hurts got hurt. Okay? It was all up, okay. It was all anxiety going through the week, the first week of the playoffs. Is he going to play? Is he going to play? Is he going to play? Come to find out, he didn't play. And I wind up because I needed Jalen Hurts. Okay? He's one of my big guns on my team. And I lost him for the first round of the playoffs, and I got pushed out. Okay, that happens. Well, lo and behold, I get back into the playoffs, same league, okay? And now the week before the playoffs, Tyreek Hill. I have Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill gets hurt. I can't believe it. Tyreek Hill gets hurt. Now I have to deal with Tyreek Hill getting hurt. And he didn't practice all week. And the Miami Dolphins are leaving it up to Tyreek Hill whether he's going to play or not. Okay? He didn't practice all week. Most guys that don't practice all week don't play. Okay? Those are Tyreek Hill fans, owners. I'm one of them. And I'm doing this. When we go through these games, I'm going to give you a player that's a big player on a team, against the team, I should say, against the team. Let me put it this way. I'm going to give you a player, a wide receiver, that's a big play wide receiver, not like Tyreek Hill, but he's a big play wide receiver with a quarterback that's super hot and an offense that's super hot, going against a defense that is one of the worst defenses against big play wide receivers. Okay? I'm going to give you that. And this is what I'm going to do. If Tyreek Hill doesn't play, this guy is going into my lineup. I know it's a shot in the dark, but I ain't got no choice. I don't have a choice. And I'm going to give it. I'm going to give this to you, okay? Not like it's something a gift, but I'm going to give this to you. I'm going to share my thoughts about what I would do, and I'm going to do this. If Tyreek Hill doesn't play, I'm putting this guy into my lineup and crossing my fingers, and hopefully he makes a big play. Now, he's got some guys in front of him that are popular players, okay? But this quarterback is so hot, and this player has gotten double digits in the last 2 games. Double digits in the last 2 games. And the last game was against a very good defense, and he got double digits. I'm hoping it happens again. Hey, it's a shot in the dark. I have no other choice. The waiver wire in this league is so bare. This is one of my best options, I feel. One of my best options. Okay? So we're going to go through all these teams that they already played 3 teams. Already played 4 teams. 3 games were on Saturday. 1 game was on Thursday. So we're going to go through to the Sunday games, the Sunday night game, the Monday night games. Okay? And my fantasy football playoff life may be dependent on what happens on Sunday night. I mean Monday night. Excuse me, Monday night. And you know, I hate this because you got to go through Sunday games, and then you get to Monday night. It's happened to me before, and I know it's happened to you too, people. You get through the Sunday games, okay? You're in good shape, or you're halfway in good shape, and you got Monday, and either your opponent or you have Monday, or both Monday night players. And if you're winning, you're hoping on Monday night that your opponent player doesn't have a monster game and beat you on Monday night. That may happen. It's fantasy football. It may happen for no reason. Fantasy football. Okay? So we're gonna go through this. 1 o'clock games, 4 o'clock games, 8 o'clock games, and then a Monday night game. And then and I'm going to give you an alternative. It may not be a great alternative, I'm telling you right now, but it's an alternative. And I think my reasoning is pretty good. I know it's not a great option. I think my reasoning is pretty good because this player has scored double digits, even with the players he has in front of him. He scored double digits. The big play wide receiver. That's what I'm looking for. Big play wide receiver. They take the place of Tyreek Hill. Okay? And quite naturally, Tyreek Hill, you know, if he plays, you got to play him. You got to play him. But you're taking the chance. So if Tyreek Hill's active, you play him, and hopefully Tyreek Hill can last the whole game. If Tyreek Hill doesn't play, then I'm going to play this player. No, regardless. Okay? Regardless. And then we go from there. It's either win or and move on, or lose and go home. That's it. And if you have to reach for the fences because maybe he wants to rest for the next week, I think they play a division opponent next week. Excuse me. I think they play Buffalo next week. Maybe he wants to rest. Maybe that may be a reason for Tyreek Hill not to play this week, but to rest himself for next week. You never know. You never know. But let's go through this. Let's go through these plays. I mean, these teams, these matchups. Chicago Bears at my Cleveland Browns. Oh my God! They signed Joe Flacco to a contract, and with incentives, he wins each game. They get, and also a playoff game, and the levels of playoff is wild card, division, and AFC championship, and even the Super Bowl. Joe Flacco gets a bonus. Each one of those wins. Okay? So there's a strong incentive for Mr. Flacco to play well. Now, he's played well over the last 2 games. Okay? He's injected some fire into that offense. Okay? Now, at the beginning of the season, I said these Cleveland Browns, my Cleveland Browns, would win at least 10 games. Okay. I said they will win at least 10 games. Some people, I'm not going to name names, but some people said, come on, man. I said this team is not is good at, excuse me, this team is better than you think it is. Okay. Now they went through four starting quarterbacks, and the coach has got them to this point at 9-5. All they have to do is win one more game, and they're at 10-7. You think they're not? You think they're not? They may be even 11-6 in its next matchup. I mean, in the matchups that are coming up to the end of the season. Okay, they still have a shot at the division. More than likely, they're a wild card. They still have a shot at the division. Okay, I like Joe Flacco in this matchup. I like Jerome Ford. Now, Chicago defense has improved over the later part of this season and is pretty strong against the run. I like Amari Cooper and David Njoku. One of the Chicago hasn't improved on is defending the tight end position. Okay. In fact, let me just give you this information. The Chicago Bears are 18th against the quarterback, 26th against the running back, 15th against the wide receiver, and 25th in preventing fantasy points to those four positions. So if you're a running back, I like Jerome Ford in this. If you're a tight end, I like David Njoku a lot in this. Okay, David Njoku had a season high last week in fantasy points. And this is as good a matchup as it was last week against Jacksonville. This is against the Chicago Bears. And Chicago, 25th in preventing fantasy points at the tight end position. I know David Njoku is in most rosters. I'd be surprised if it's not. But he is. But he's got a good matchup along with Jerome Ford. Now, I told you about Jerome Ford last year. I told you about Jerome Ford last year. I have his jersey because I like Jerome Ford a lot. And it's ironic that Nick Chubb went down and Jerome Ford became the lead back. Nick Chubb, number 24, Jerome Ford, number 34. Okay? I love Jerome Ford in this matchup. I loved him last year when they drafted him, and I love him this year when he got the opportunity to play, and he played well. I like Elijah Moore a little bit. Elijah Moore is a wide receiver 3, a flex option. Joe Flacco knows Elijah Moore. Okay, on the other side, Justin Fields. You got to play Justin Fields. He's a dual threat quarterback against this defense, which is the number 1 rated defense, and they're 6-1 at home. And the fact is this: they play better defense at home. Their defense is suspect on the road, but they play better defense at home, and they're 6-1 at home. So, as a record, all right. Deontay Foreman. Let me tell you about this defense in Cleveland. Cleveland is number 5 against the quarterback, number 12 against the running back, number 2 against the wide receiver, and number 1 against the tight end position in preventing fantasy points. Top 5 at the quarterback, wide receiver, and tight end in preventing fantasy points. Okay, but I got to play Justin Fields. Now, I know you want to play DJ Moore. You can play him. I don't blame you. But I temper your expectations for DJ Moore. Temper your expectations for Cole Kmet, okay, who has been one of the favorite targets for Justin Fields. Okay. Let's move on to the next matchup, okay, which would be let me move down here. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, at the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love has been hot. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in fantasy points, 26th against the quarterback, 11th against the running back, 25th against the wide receiver, and 27th against the tight end position in preventing fantasy points. Did you hear what I said? They are good, very good against the run, but against the pass, they could be thrown on. Okay, Tampa Bay. So if you have Jordan Love, I'm telling you, they're playing in Green Bay. Okay, Jordan Love's backyard. I'm telling you to play Jordan Love. Jaden Reed, one of Jordan Love's favorite targets. You got to play him. There's no two ways around. He's been one of his favorite targets. And I told you about this other wide receiver because I think he's going to get some love. Ironically, I said that. He's going to get some love this week is Romeo Doubs. Talked about Romeo Doubs the beginning of the year. It started in preseason. You can see that he and Romeo Doubs, number 87 on your program in Green Bay, was one of his favorite targets. Christian Watson, I wouldn't say he's a wide receiver of the past, but he can't stay healthy. He's a Mike Williams of the Green Bay Packers. He can't stay healthy. No matter, he's Mr. Brittle. No matter what, it seems like Christian Watson is just, he's got a lot of talent, but an ability. But if you're not on the field and you're not available, what good is that talent and that ability? That's what I'm saying. And I'm going to bring in my esteemed co-host, the maker of fantasy sports and politics, a friend. I don't know what name to call him, but I'm gonna call him Vic for now. I don't know what name to call him, but I'm gonna call him Vic for now. According to how this program goes, I may call him another name. Not a foul name, but I may call him another name because I found his true colors over the last week, and we'll see what happens. And he's got this perplexed look on his face.
Yeah.
FSP, how you be?
I'm good. Not gonna be on the show too long, but I'm wondering about this new nickname you plan to give me and why you plan to give it to me.
Ooh,
So you might as well get that out right now.
Memo?
Excuse me?
Memo?
What about Q?
I'll call you Mr. Q. How's that?
Oh, you gonna Okay, the backstory, ladies and gentlemen. Jerry needs new glasses and hearing aids. Yesterday, he thought I was Q and Q was me when we were doing the show. And it was a running joke, but it's okay.
Okay, no problem.
His sugar levels are low.
You look like you're in a good mood, man. You look like you had enough rest.
Sugar levels are low.
You look like you got a lot of rest. You look rested.
Thank you. Well, my oldest son came in last night, had a little trouble on the way, but got home and he's in there asleep right now. So happy about that. Waiting on my baby girl next or this Saturday or something like that.
Okay.
And so I'm a little happy. My levels are low, and you know, I'm getting my weight back, even though I don't want all of it. I'm getting my weight back.
Well, getting your weight back, man. You gotta lose weight.
Not the way I did. And as much as I did, yes, but not the way I did it.
Let me tell you, brother, from September up until now, I lost about 30 pounds.
You on that HIV diet? What you got?
Let me put it this way. I changed my diet completely. Pissed off.
Vegan now.
Piss off my wife, but I changed my diet completely because some food she wanted to give me, I rejected, which didn't go over well. But
of course not.
And I
explains your moodiness. That explains your up and down moodiness.
Trust me. I am feeling better than I've ever felt before, and I test myself. I used to in the beginning. I used to test myself every day, every morning. Now I test myself every other day.
Got a question?
Oh, got a question. Hold on. Let me see what we got here. Let me show.
See, they ask questions when I come on because Mr.
No,
FSP
I don't know who Mimsy is, but Mimsy, I'm glad you're listening. And I appreciate it. 0.5 point PPR, 6 points touchdown. A-Chain if he plays Ridley or Zay Flowers. Also, does Zay Flowers get a bump in value if I'm playing against Lamar Jackson? Also, does Zay Flowers get a bump in value if I'm playing against Lamar Jackson? You have A-Chain, Ridley, or Flowers. Now, in this matchup, and 6 point half PPR, half point PPR, and you got and Jacksonville is going up against who? Jacksonville is going up against the Baltimore Ravens. I don't like Ridley, so I immediately throw him out because I don't think he's going to get a lot of love or any valuable love. Okay, A-Chain is questionable. A-Chain if he plays, or that's sort of the choice, in my opinion, is A-Chain or Zay Flowers. Now, we know Ridley going against Baltimore is not a good match, in my opinion. A-Chain is iffy, questionable, okay? And how long is he going to last? Let me put it that way, if he plays. So, in my opinion, going against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who the Jacksonville, let me see, Jacksonville is, and I can tell you right now, Jacksonville is 27th in preventing fantasy points against the wide receiver position. That's my play, Zay Flowers. Okay, they're throwing more, and because of no Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers and Odell Beckham Jr. are the 1-2. I would go with Zay Flowers in my opinion. Mr. FSP, talk to me.
So with the guidelines of half point PPR, there's several things you got to break down here. First of all, Miami's going against the Jets. It's not going to be any easy sledding. I know A-Chain's got speed, but he's injured.
Yep.
But so is Raheem Morris. He's a little nicked up, but Raheem's going to play through it. The key here, if you are really considering A-Chain, is will Tyreek play? If Tyreek plays, then the whole defense shifts to stop him, not the run game, so to speak. And the weather's going to be bad in Miami. Okay? So on the border of A-Chain getting that half PPR. So does he receive the ball out of the backfield? Yeah, think about that. And if you're getting half PPR, are you getting half points for every touch? Meaning when he runs the ball. JT said it. The gentleman is iffy for the game, so you don't know. Moving on to Ridley and Zay Jones. Unfortunately,
Zay Flowers.
I'm sorry, Zay Flowers. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of faith in Jacksonville's linebacker core. And why do I say linebacker core? Because Zay Flowers is not the big deep threat guy that I thought he would be. They're giving him the ball near the line of scrimmage and short routes where the linebackers are going to probably try to kill him. But Jacksonville's linebackers, they're one of the worst groups in the NFL outside of Aluakon, who is one of the top leading tackles. But they have no real good form, things of that nature.
All right,
do I go with Calvin Ridley? Here's the deal. Zay Jones is the main target getter for Jacksonville now that Christian Kirk is out. which is unfortunate because Calvin Ridley should be the main target getter outside of Evan Ingram. There are a lot of mouths to feed in Jacksonville is the point. And that defense of Baltimore is pretty daggone good. I'm not sure if he's going to be a good play this week. Actually, I started Terry McLaurin over Calvin Ridley this week in several of my leagues where I'm in the quarterfinals. So I'm agree with JT. We'll go with Zay Flowers. As to do you get a bump because he's going against Lamar? It depends on what he does with those numbers, man. It really does. Like, for instance, I've seen people with Tua and my man Tyreek, and Tyreek has outscored Tua. You know, so if you're going against him, it's a possibility, but highly unlikely. I think Lamar is going to have way more points than Zay Flowers because Lamar's spreading the ball around now. We talked about it yesterday on the FSP show. Lamar is not just looking for Mark Andrews, who isn't there, but now he's looking for Odell.
Okay.
He's looking for Zay. He's looking for Isaiah Likely and stuff like that.
All right.
Now you're doing me.
Well, yeah, because you
I'm sorry. It's the host in me. It's the host in me.
Yeah, I can see that. Anyway, this is one of my philosophies. Okay, people, I'm gonna give this to you too. If I happen to have a wide receiver that's on my roster, and my opponent has a quarterback that throws to that wide receiver, I'm going to play that because, hello, that wide receiver, and if he's one of the main wide receivers, is going to benefit. So I know it's quarterback on the opposing your opponent, but you're going to get points. You're going to get valuable points, especially if he's your number 1 or 2 wide receiver and he likes throwing to him, which Zay Flowers is. So if you're playing against Lamar Jackson, hell yeah, I'm playing Zay Flowers. I understand you got a chain. I understand that. That's a nice running back, but it's too iffy. Very good defense going up against the Jets, and Ridley is not my option against the Baltimore defense. Zay Flowers is a no-brainer to me. Okay, let's move on. Thank you for the question. I appreciate you listening. You're welcome, and I'll put that out there. Okay, I really appreciate you listening. I've never heard you with any comments before, but I appreciate it. Anyway, let's move on.
Can't really heard nobody with comments before, y'all.
You know, I
tease because I love you, bro. Go ahead.
Okay.
I ain't got much time, and I want to, give my jabs in because yesterday you acted a plumb fool. But go ahead. I ain't gonna do that today. I'm not gonna do it unless I'm provoked. If I'm provoked, I will. But I will not do that today. Okay,
Memo, no problem. Anyway, let's move on. Okay. New York Jets at the Miami Dolphins. Man, I know Zach Wilson played well. Okay, he played well last week. A surprise to a lot of people. But I told on the FSP show yesterday, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on a Saturday afternoon, that he just like up and down, like a roller coaster. You never know what you're going to get. I told him like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get with Zach Wilson. Is he going to play well, or is he going to play lousy? Well, going in Miami, the weather is not so going to be favorable. Let me put it that way. It's supposed to be raining in Miami, and against a division opponent, with the division opponent wanting this game in the worst way. I know the Jets want it because of the division opponent, but Miami wants it in the worst way and have added incentive. Before I go to the Jets, I'll go to the Jets first. I'm not playing Zach Wilson. There's no way. There's two viable options. Breece Hall, and I'm not thinking Breece Hall is going to be having a big day. I imagine that they're going to feed the beast to keep the ball away from the Miami Dolphins, who was the dynamic and big play waiting to happen. I'm not expecting Garrett Wilson to have a big day. Not expecting. Not expecting Garrett Wilson to have a big day. But I will say this, and let me look at Miami real quick. Miami, come on. Miami, God bless America.
So Miami's defense, if you noticed, they're vulnerable to the pass. Even though they've got stud corners and things of that nature. What Tennessee did to them last Monday proves that they need to shore up that secondary. It wasn't Derrick Henry and Tajay Spears killing them in the run game. It was Will Levis getting the ball to the number one target, Hopkins, and Aluaquan. I'm not Aluaquan. I forgot the tight end's name.
Aquanco.
Yeah, Aquanco. So if you're looking at how this game might play out, if the Jets do what they're supposed to do, Zach Wilson's going to get Tyler Conklin the ball a lot, and he's going to try to, if he has the guts, he's going to try to get the ball to Garrett Wilson. But the question for me is Breece Hall. Breece Hall's been nicked up the past couple weeks, and he hasn't been able to provide that thump that they need in the run game. They've leaned a little bit more to Cook, but if they can get that combination, catching the ball out the backfield and running a little bit more, it's going to be a tough sledding for Miami, who, as we saw, JT, when they played Tennessee, if Tyreek Hill's not in that game, Tua's not a good play. And Jalen Waddle might get some targets and stuff like that, but for whatever reason, the team is not the same without the cheetah. Your 2023 NFL maybe MVP.
And for those who want this information, I'm going to give this information out to you. The Miami Dolphins defense in preventing fantasy points against the quarterback is 19th, running back is 13th, wide receiver is 19th, and the tight end is 15th. They're middle of the pack in preventing fantasy points for all four of those positions, basically. Middle of the pack. The New York Jets, on the other hand, third against the quarterback, 23rd against the running back, first against the wide receiver position, and 17th against the tight end position in preventing fantasy points. What they do well is prevent points from the quarterback and the wide receiver position. And that goes to Tua, and that goes to Tyreek Hill. And if Tyreek Hill plays, I will give you an alternative. They may not be the best alternative, but once I get to that person that is on in one of my matchups, and Mr. FSP should know this well, I'll let you know that it may not be the best, but my reasoning is because the type of defense this player is going to go against, the wide receiver, is one of the worst.
Who I think it is.
It's one of the worst defenses on big plays in fantasy. So I'm just getting that out there for you.
I gotta ask you a question, JT.
What's up?
Is it who I think it is?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Is he a player we debated in Vegas?
No. Not even.
Okay, I was about to say.
Let me put it this way. You have no idea. I did a lot of research on this player.
We just told the people I know, and now you said I don't know. So
you don't know. You'll recognize the name when I push it out there when a matchup comes. But for most people, they're not even thinking about this player because he's got two players in front of him that most people know. Okay. But I'm going to put this out there, and if your waiver wire is bare, this is, in my opinion, one of the best options once I explain what my reasoning is for it. Anyway, let's move on to the next matchup, which would be the New York Giants and the New Orleans Saints. Two options that the Giants have. That's it. Two options. Just two. And I like one, One makes sense. The two, I'm not sure about. Okay. The first one is the running back, Saquon Barkley. He's the end all be all for that offense. The second is Wan'Dale Robinson. Okay. And the third, I'm going to give you a third sleeper that is Jalen Hyatt. He's a big player wide receiver that has gotten some love of late. Didn't do too much last week, but against this defense in New Orleans, and the New Orleans defense is ninth against the wide quarterback, ninth against the running back, fourth against the wide receiver, and 21st against the tight end position. They are top 10, top 5 in one position, and top within the top 10 and against the quarterback and running back. This, I mean, you got to play Saquon, okay? Wan'Dale is a coin flip. If you want to play him, God bless you. If you don't want to play him, I'm not going to hate you for it. But you got to play Saquon Barkley because you got to play your studs. Plain and simple, you got to play your studs. I don't like anything else other than that in this matchup, the Giants against the New Orleans Saints. The Giants, on the other hand, is 10th against the quarterback, 21st against the running back, 30th against the wide receiver position, and number 3 in preventing fantasy points at the tight end position. So, do you play Alvin Kamara? You got to play. Like I said, you got to play your studs. Taysom Hill. If Taysom Hill's healthy, you got to play him because he's, besides being a quarterback / tight end, he's a tight end. And he's a Swiss Army knife because he does everything for that offense. Okay? I can't play Derek Carr. Come on, man. Derek Carr has been so banged up, but he always finds a way to play. In fact, I'll be surprised if he lasts this game. I'd be surprised if he lasts this game. And you got to, and Chris Olave is banged up also. How much are you going to get out of him with Derek Carr? Talk to me, Mr. FSP.
You mentioned a lot of names, but one name that's a really iffy but possible play, I believe he's activated as of today, is Darren Waller. As you mentioned, New Orleans is terrible versus the tight end. I saw he was designated to return, and he had been practicing all week. Don't know if they activated him or not, or will activate him by the game time. If he does play, that's another nice target for Mr. DeVito to throw to. As far as New Orleans goes, you said what needed to be said. They're really banged up offensive side of the ball. Really, really banged up. I wouldn't be surprised if New York wins this game, but I don't have much to offer on this.
Okay. No problem. Let's move on. A division rival, Houston Texans at the Tennessee Titans. Case Keenum. Yeah, you heard me, people. Case Keenum is supposed to be the starting quarterback for the Houston Texans. You don't play Case Keenum. Come on. Come on. Don't play Case Keenum. Devin Singletary. Good luck. The Tennessee Titans are 17th against the quarterback, 14th against the running back, 28th against the wide receiver, and 2nd against the tight end position, preventing fantasy points. How Houston is going to be able to move the ball has always been the same thing with Tennessee through the air. Can Case Keenum get the ball to whoever's going to be the wide receivers? It ain't going to be Nico Collins. Quite naturally, he's no Tank Dell. He's on IR. You got a banged up Noah Brown. Is it going to be Dalton Schultz? Or is it going to be Robert Woods? Or Jonathan Mechie? or Xavier Hutchinson? You don't know. But that's how any offense can move the ball on the Tennessee defense. They've been horrible all year against the pass. Run is a different story. Pass, you got to play. You got to play anybody in the wide receiver position, but you got to temper your expectations because who's throwing the football to him? Case Keenum. Okay? On the other side of the ball, you got to play Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry eats up the Houston Texans. Derrick Henry eats up the Houston Texans. Houston is 20th against the quarterback, 18th against the running back, 14th against the wide receiver, and 30th against the tight end position. Akuwanko should have a good game. If Will Levis can get the ball to him, they can exploit that Texans defense in a tight end position. Derrick Henry has been splitting carries with Tyjae Spears. Now, I won't expect Tyjae Spears to be even a flex position. You're taking a chance. This is the playoffs. You're taking a chance, okay? And that's not a chance I want to take if I have Tyjae Spears, okay? Hopkins and Derrick Henry, along with the tight end, is my option in the Tennessee Titans. Mr. FSP, it's on you.
So the Tennessee Titans have another wide receiver that caught a touchdown last week. You okay?
Go ahead.
I can't think of his name right now, but it's a hyphenated name. Westbrook something or another. I kind of like him here. Will Levis loves to force the ball to Hopkins, but this young kid is slowly becoming a 5 to 6 target a game guy. That's not much, but in a run heavy offense, that's plenty. Listen, Houston, I'm sorry, it's over. Lose this game, and Stroud doesn't come back till next week. Nico's still out. Tank Dell's on IR. Dalton Schultz may return. We don't know if he's going to return or not, but that'll be the big target for Houston and Case Keenum. Schultz is a good target to have if you're looking to get points from the Texans. But you named all the culprits outside of I can't remember Westbrook something. I can't remember the kid's hyphenated name for Tennessee, but he's a good wide receiver, and I look forward to him having a good game here as well. Last time they played, Houston saw the old Oilers uniforms, and the old Oilers uniforms, like Jerry said, Derrick Henry had a hell of a game. He'll do it again.
Okay, let's move on to a player that's near and dear to your heart. San Francisco 49ers against the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona is 27th against the quarterback, 31st against the running back, 20th against the wide receiver, and 7th against the tight end position, preventing fantasy points. The San Francisco 49ers are number 4 against the quarterback, number 6 against the running back, 24th against the wide receiver, and 5th against the tight end position, preventing fantasy points. You play every San Francisco 49ers skill position. You play Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and George Kittle. Absolutely. On the other side of the ball, you got to temper your expectations. San Francisco, as good as their defense is, can be taken advantage of in the wide receiver position in preventing fantasy points. They're near the bottom of the league in preventing fantasy points in the wide receiver position. Do I say play Marquise Brown? Yes, because he's the number 1 wide receiver in here. Do I say play Michael Wilson? That's no. Do I say play Trey McBride? Absolutely. This was a sudden turnaround, and I think it happened as soon as Zach Ertz, who's now not on the Arizona Cardinals, came on the Arizona Cardinals. And they started throwing to the tight end position and exploiting that position a lot. and now it's Trey McBride's position. Okay, and I would play Trey McBride because Kyler Murray loves throwing to Trey McBride. He loves throwing to Trey McBride, and Trey McBride is a baller in the tight end position. Okay, is a baller. Mr. FSP, I got no more. I can't talk about James Conner because I mean they're locked down pretty much on a running back. And I can't say that James Conner is going to be able to exploit this defense in San Francisco, even though they're playing at home in Arizona. Talk to me, Mr. FSP, about the San Francisco 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals.
Well, I will say that there's not much to guess here. Brock Purdy's Mr. Consistent. I had this conversation with somebody in our league. If you want a steady 25, 30 points a game from your quarterback position, Brock Purdy's the guy for you.
Yep.
CMC, of course. Surprising Brandon Ayuk is the number one in numbers versus Debo. Debo's not in the backfield as much. And then you have the fourth option, George Kittle. And then the fifth option is
really. Really?
I knew you were going to put it up.
Really?
I knew you were going to put it up.
Really?
Thank you, Victor Gardner.
You are so full of yourself. Oh, my God.
I am.
Oh, my God.
I said I am. But bottom line up front is there's not much you can say. You said what I was going to say about Arizona, but there's you're in your fantasy playoffs. You better play every 49er you can.
Yep.
Right? Kyler Murray versus this defense might not be the best play, but if that's the best option you have, which most likely you do, that's a good play. JT's not sold on Connor, but Connor also gets a lot of dump offs, a lot of screens, and he can break some stuff. So you could do worse, and put it that way. You could do worse.
Yeah. You got to temper your expectations of going up against a defense like the San Francisco 49ers and your running back. You got to temper your expectations.
And mute me real quick.
Huh?
Mute me real quick because I don't see where I can mute myself.
Mute you real quick? Okay, hold on. How can I mute you?
Just click on my box.
Hold on.
If you go down to my box at the bottom, there should be a microphone. Just click on that.
Yeah, but if I do that,
you muted yourself.
That's what I'm saying.
But if you go to my box at the bottom.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I did mute you now. Okay. All right, people. It's that time. It's that time. Okay. This matchup, Washington Commanders at the Los Angeles Rams. Okay. I know the Washington Commanders throw it a lot in this Eric Bieniemy offense. I know that. The Rams are 23rd against the quarterback, 5th against the running back, 17th against the wide receiver, and 29th against the tight end position in preventing fantasy points. I
gotta go.
Washington Commanders are 32nd against the quarterback, 24th against the running back, 31st against the wide receiver position, and 11th against the tight end position.
I gotta go.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Okay. Anyway, people. This is what I was going to talk to you about. This is what I was going to talk to you about. Let's talk to Washington about Washington first. All right, you got to play Sam Howell. I told you what the fantasy points is with the Rams. The quarterback position can be exploited from the Rams. You got to play Antonio Gibson is the running back, and you can run on the Los Angeles Rams. Okay, and Brian Robinson is out. He's got a big fat O next to his name, meaning out. He's not playing this week. You played Curtis Samuel, and in the flex, these wide receivers are all flex positions. All flex. They're not one or two. They're all flexes. Curtis Samuel, Terry McLaurin, and Jahan Dotson. Okay. I can't trust these guys. I know Sam Howell is going to be throwing the ball early and often, but I can't trust him. On the other side of the ball, people, listen to me. You play Matthew Stafford. I mentioned a quarterback that's hot. Matthew Stafford has been super hot, putting up mad points in a quarterback position in fantasy. You play Matthew Stafford. Kerryon Williams is going to be a beast. Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Now, I mentioned that the Washington Commanders defense is 31st against the wide receiver position and 32nd against the quarterback position. That means they're, in my opinion, susceptible to big plays. And if that's going to happen, big plays. Is that Cooper Kupp? Is that Puka Nacua? Could be. But I'm going to give you a name. And you're going to say, what? Really? I'm going to give you a name, and I'm going to give you my reasoning behind his name. Okay? If Tyreek Hill is out, and you're looking for and your waiver wire is bare, there's hardly anybody on you. You're scouring, you're trying to figure out, and you're looking for upside, and most opportunity for a player is a wide receiver on the Los Angeles Rams. That's not Cooper Kupp. That's not Puka Nacua. It's DeMarcus Robinson. And you're going to say, what? Who? You're looking for a big play wide receiver? DeMarcus Robinson is just that guy. You're looking for a big play wide receiver against a defense that gives up big plays? DeMarcus Robinson. No Tyreek Hill. No Tyreek Hill. If that happens, no Tyreek Hill. And you're looking, you're scurrying the waiver wire. And this, in my opinion, is probably one of the better options because he's a big play wide receiver against a defense that gives up big plays with a hot quarterback. And they're playing at home. They're playing at home. Ideal conditions. Ideal conditions, in my opinion. That's what I would do. No Tyreek Hill. I know it's a long shot, but what do you got to lose? You got huge points that Tyreek Hill, if he doesn't play, you got to fill that void. You're looking for somebody. Quite naturally, he's not going to be in the waiver wire, and you don't have him on the bench. Then you got to substitute somebody that got big play potential against a defense that gives up big plays. That's DeMarcus Robinson. Over the last 2 weeks, he's given you double-digit fantasy points. I think in PPR, I think it's 13 and 15 points. You're looking for that. You're looking for something. You don't want a zero. You're looking for something. That's what I'm talking about. All right? I know it's a long shot. He can get 3 targets for 15, 20 yards. Or he can get 4 targets and 80 yards and a touchdown. That can happen. That can happen. That's the type of player you're looking for. That's the type of player you want. But you don't want him because the fact is he gives you 3 and 23. You want him 3 and 80 and a touchdown. That's the gap he can give you. He can give you a low floor and he can give you a very high ceiling. Okay? You're taking a shot. You lose Tyreek Hill and you don't have a viable backup. That's my thought. All right, people. Let's move on to the Dallas Cowboys at the Buffalo Bills. Dak, Tony Pollard, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Jake Ferguson. Against the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, James Cook, Stephon Diggs, Dalton Kincaid. Do I need to say any more? Okay. Do I need to say any more? I don't think I need to say any more. I think those are the options. Those are the options. This should be a high-scoring game, and I expect these players to go along with that. Oh, let's move on to the Philadelphia Eagles at the Seahawks. Philadelphia has lost 2 games, one to the 49ers and the other one to Dallas Cowboys. Rough patch. People are doubting Philly. This, in my opinion, I said it on 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon at the FSP, Mr. FSP, the Fantasy Sports and Politics Show, that this is Philly's get-right game. Jalen Hurts, DeAndre Swift, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, okay? They should be able to show out against this defense of the Seahawks. The Seahawks are 24th against the quarterback, 28th against the running back, 29th against the wide receiver, and 19th against the tight end position of preventing fantasy points. The Philly is 31st against the quarterback, 4th against the running back, dead last, and 32nd, and 29th a wide receiver, 32nd against the wide receiver position and tight end. This should be a interesting fantasy goodness in this game. Okay, I expect both teams to put up fantasy points. I expect who I named on the Eagles to be putting up fantasy points. Either Geno Smith or the Drew Lock. He's check the inactive to see if Geno is going to play. It's at night. That's the chance you take with Geno Smith. If it's at night, that's the chance you take. You may get a big fat 0, or you may have to put somebody in it to make sure that if Geno Smith doesn't play, you got somebody else in line. But you got to make the decision. If you know Geno Smith, I would put a Kyler Murray in there. Okay. If no Geno Smith, you may have Matthew Stafford. I would definitely put Matthew Stafford in this place. Okay. That's no two ways about it. Okay. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. I'm not too high. Some people are playing Jackson Smith, but I don't think he's going to have a big game here. I think he gets 8-9 points at best, maybe 10. Okay. I know they can be thrown on. I don't like Kenneth Walker. I know you got to play your studs. If Kenneth Walker's carry you to the playoffs, you got to play him. Okay. Zach Charbonnet, no. He's only backup. He doesn't get the kind of work Kenneth Walker does. Okay. And I'll move on from there. Let's talk about, excuse me, the Baltimore Ravens at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay. You play Lamar Jackson. You play. Does Keith Mitchell have a big game? Really? Does he have a big game? Jacksonville. Jacksonville is, come on, Jacksonville. Jacksonville is 30th against the quarterback, 17th against the running back, 27th against the wide receiver, 26th against the tight end position, preventing fantasy points. Isaiah Likely, Odell Beckham Jr., Zay Flowers, Gus Edwards, and that's a committee, in my opinion. Keaton Mitchell, everybody been talking about Keaton Mitchell. I don't think so. Don't think so. You don't know who's going to be the featured back in this. Is it Keaton Mitchell or the Gus Edwards? You want to take that chance? You want to take that chance? Hopefully you have a better option. But definitely Odell Beckham and Zay Flowers, and likely Isaiah Likely, because Jacksonville is so bad against the tight end position. We go with that. Jacksonville is 30th against the quarterback, 17th against the running back, 27th against the wide receiver, and 26th against the tight end position. Okay, that's what Jacksonville is. So that's why I'm saying that. Baltimore, 2nd against the quarterback, 8th against the running back, 12th against the wide receiver position, and 9th against the tight end position. Evan Ingram is you got to temper your expectations with Evan Ingram in this, because the simple fact is this: Baltimore is such a good option. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, you got to play him. I mean, unless you got a better option other than Trevor Lawrence, you got to play Trevor Lawrence. But you got to temper your expectations on all these players, in Jacksonville. Okay. Calvin Ridley, I'm not a big Calvin Ridley. I don't think he's going to do well here. I think Zay Jones is the number one, just like Victor said earlier. And that's how it is. And we move on. We move on to the last game. I know it's an early game. I know I'm going out of sequence from 1 o'clock to Monday night game, but this is the last game we're going to talk about. Kansas City Chiefs at the New England Patriots. Patrick Mahomes is pissed off, and I expect him to show up and show out. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, let me tell you about the New England defense. New England is 6th against the quarterback, 10th against the running back, 21st against the wide receiver, and 4th against the tight end position. They're not that bad. Their weakness is wide receiver. And the weakness of the Kansas City Chiefs is the wide receiver. Okay? A reliable wide receiver. You play, in my opinion, you play Rashee Rice. That's the number one option for Kansas City, in my opinion. Other than Travis Kelce, Rashee Rice. Kadarius Toney, I'm not really liking him. I know he probably wants to make amends for what he did last week. I don't think he does. I don't think he's reliable enough to put in your fantasy lineup to count on him to give you some quality points. On the other side, no Ramondre Stevenson. Zeke Elliott is the only viable option that Bailey Zappi is going to depend on in this option. That's it. I'm not a big Demario Douglas fan. I don't think Bailey Zappi is going to do anything effective. If you have Demario Douglas, he is a wide receiver 4, definitely a flex. Maybe you get maybe you get double-digit points because of the targets that he may get. He may get you to 11 to 12 points, something like that. But that's it. All right, people. I've given you some options. I give you my opinion. Now, you can take it. You can throw it out the window and say, you don't know what he's talking about. Okay. I'm not going to be perfect. Some of these are way off. Some of them are right on point. I can tell you that. Some are right on point. I love Demarcus Robinson. It's an ideal position, but you're not in the ideal position if you go to Demarcus Robinson outside of Tyreek Hill. If you don't have any better options, ideal, in my opinion. But it is what it is. Hopefully you get a win. Hopefully I've gotten you to this point. If you're taking my advice and I've gotten to you this point, you're in the playoffs. And then we can get a playoff win. And then you can move on to the semifinals. One step closer. If you win this week, one step closer to the championship. And hopefully we can get you there. Tune in next week, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am JT, a.k.a. The Master. And as you see behind me is 4 No Reason. Okay? Talk to you later. Good luck. And God bless. See ya.